ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Live with Ab 5. I am your host, Ab 5, the voice of the Bronx. As you can see, we are not in my studio today. We are at La Bodega with the owner of La Bodega, Produkt. We call him P, you know what I mean? My brother, thank you. This is amazing. I appreciate you.
Of course, brother. Of course.
I was here months ago when we did the Black Rose comedy show for New Year's. That was my first. I heard about it. I seen it. When you look at it online, you look at it on IG, bro. It does no justice. I came in here and I'm just walking around like, yo, what the fuck is this? So we're gonna do the tour later, everybody. We're gonna do store by store because I really need to know how this man envisioned this because this is fucking amazing. Congratulations to you.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
What was the vision? You know, just to do a quick summary, and then we'll go back to it. But just a quick summary.
Yeah, really, it was everything started off with music. So it was supposed to be a production house for myself. I had multiple artists sound to our label called X Records, and we were spending a lot of money going to different studios and spending a fortune for locations to do music videos. So it just became a smart business decision to find a space and make it something that we could make our own, that we could create our own content in. So that's pretty much the birth of it. I walked in here, I had a vision for the space immediately. So it just it was a snowball effect, you know? So one thing just kept leading to another, leading to another. And then finally I found myself in the position to take over the building for a long-term lease. And this is what we're sitting in now.
That's called investment, baby. Make it happen.
Yes, sir.
Because you got the studio in the back too.
Yep, in the Bodega, we got a full state-of-the-art recording facility. We don't rent out the recording studio. You have to rent the entire building in order to get access to the recording studio. It's a part of the package. You can't just come and record music.
We have to give love and pay homage to I call him my pops because he gives everyone that feeling. His uncle is Leo. His real uncle, he's my pops because we neighbors for 20 years. And when he moved in a long time ago, you know, your neighbor is just your neighbor. Hey, what's up, whatever. But that man has such an effect on people that he really, really meant something to my life. That he sold the house, he moved on, but I still got his number. I still talk to him and his kids. But let's just give Uncle Leo some props.
Of course. Listen, first of all, Uncle Leo was like my pops too. That was definitely like my father from Little League and all that growing up. If you from Soundview or you from the Soundview area, if you don't know Leo or the Perales family, then you haven't been there for long. So big shout to my uncle. He's a huge inspiration. Man's in his 50s, a 8-time triathlon athlete.
100%.
His training consisted of Miller Lights and 4 a.m. swims. He's, my real life Superman. He's the Superman for a lot of people that come from that neighborhood, as well as his sons, my cousin Eric and Leo. I love y'all. Titi Linda, we're not gonna forget about you either.
Hell no.
Tina, love all you guys, man. That's family.
Yeah.
Full circle stuff, man.
Yeah, we met in passing because you used to always be around the crib, and I was like, yo, that's the same Jeep, and the man still got the same Jeep. It's fucking amazing.
Facts. That's business 101, man. Don't get caught up in the hype. Don't be out here thinking you need to be driving a $100,000 car to be fly. If it gets you from point A to point B, put your money in somewhere that it really matters. Cars are not assets, they're liabilities. So
that's a fact.
Don't make no sense to be pouring a bunch of money in a car when you got one that works exceptionally well.
just keep in touch with your oil change. You'll be all right.
There you go.
So let's do a quick before we get into the music. Obviously this great space that you created. Let's get into Born and Raised real quick. BX all day?
BX all day. I grew up, like I said, in the Soundview, Castle Hill area. People hate when I say that shit because, Soundview and Castle Hill. There's a big separation there. But, I grew up Soundview with Uncle Leo and stuff like that. Spent a lot of time in their house. Titi Linda used to take care of us when we were small after school and stuff like that. But we lived on Lafayette Avenue. And right where the sanitation is now there's a bunch of restaurants and stuff back there, but born and raised, I played Castle Hill to Little League, went to IS 131, I went to PS 138. I've been all over the Bronx, though. I'm like a real Bronx baby. Dead ass. I lived in Throgs Neck, bunch of different places in Throgs Neck. I lived in Gun Hill Road. I lived Boston Road. I lived Parkchester. I lived all over the Bronx.
You gotta keep
You know,
moving.
South Bronx. I lived everywhere, everywhere,
Moving
everywhere.
and grooving.
Yeah, I ain't go to Jersey when I got the bag. I stood here.
that's the move, right? Now it's Connecticut. But I'm hearing a lot of
Oh
Connecticut.
yeah, taxes, man.
Hell yeah.
Taxes, yeah. My boy bought a big ass nice house out there, and taxes right
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
Hmm.
Let's talk about the music around you growing up that inspired you. If you don't know, the man is a rapper. You know, he's and I don't like to say used to be a rapper because you can still do it. So
An artist,
artist,
definitely an artist.
definitely an artist.
Rappers just rap.
Exactly. So
MCs tell tales.
hell yeah. So yeah. So what music you had around you? Just
So
in the
really,
crib and all that.
I gotta give it to my big brother. Shout out to my brother Chris. When I was coming up, I was very into the R&B stuff. Like a lot of people don't know, but I wrote, produced, and developed a bunch of R&B music, and I also had an R&B artist that I was writing and producing for years actually. But R&B was the first thing that really like caught my soul. I was in shout to Miss Dwyer, my choir teacher, because I was in the chorus when I was in IS 131.
Blessings.
And I grew up on, like K7 and
Freestyle.
Boys
Freestyle
to
days, right?
Men, yeah, like Boys to Men, Mariah Carey. I was very much into the R&B stuff. When I started getting a little older and my brother running around the house playing, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Pac, it was a lot of Pac in my house. It was a lot of Bone Thugs in my house. It was a lot of West Coast shit in my house, to be honest with you. My brother was just every day cutting school in the house, smoking, music blasting, and that's what really made me fall in love with it. Like once I found hip hop, and then pun was on the verge of coming out in those days. It was all like that. I came up like right in the mecca of what the mecca of the culture was. Like
Fire.
I grew up right in the midst of it,
The golden era.
the golden era for sure. And that's when I really, really, really started messing with music heavy. The first album I ever bought was Eric Sermon, Back in Business or something like that. I can't
Yeah.
even remember the name of it. It was a CD. That was like the first album I ever bought with my own money. But heavy, heavy into me. My brother used to write the lyrics to all the records, so he knows every word. So any old school song you could put
Yeah.
on, my brother sit there and rap every single word because he had
Hell yeah.
notebooks and he'll write out the lyrics. So watching him do that, that kind of fast forwarded. It really inspired me to start writing myself. I always wrote. I was always writing stories, writing books, writing poetry. I literally created my own books, my own stories. My mother got them shits in the attic somewhere. She's, oh, Poppy, look at this. But writing was just something that soon followed after just falling in love with the idea of music and stuff like that.
No, no, I was definitely checking out your stuff. You got the fast flow, you got the chill flow.
Mm.
You did some Spanish too, so you definitely an artist. You're definitely you can tell that a lot of this music inspired you, and you did your own thing. If you want to catch him, how can what can they look your Spotify everything, right? What's the name?
Yeah, so it's Product with a K, Produkt. There's a ton of music out there. There's a ton of music videos out there. So if you want to go on YouTube, again, just put Product with a K, X Records, if it don't come up. So X Records, the letter X Records, and you're gonna see everything, man. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there that we've been producing for like, the last 10 years, 11 years. And there's some real incredible music out there. So tap in. Never know what you might find.
Yes, sir. Go down that rabbit hole. So let's talk. Okay, you mentioned in the summary about it was just in you had the building, but let's go deep into La Bodega. So what? Because I don't even know how to ask the question because this shit is so overwhelming. So it's like yo, that the day I came, I'm home with my girl. I'm like, yo, babe, did you see that fucking place? Because if you never been here, please, you have to come here. There's no tour, so
Not yet.
not yet,
Not yet.
not yet. You see
We're
that?
working on that.
But let's go back to the day of I don't know the day you met the landlord or whatever, and what was the plan?
So really what it was, I've been back here in this area since like 2012. I had another studio, another warehouse space right around the corner on 136. I started there. It was called 808. So I started actually doing a whole revamp of that warehouse to make it into a production house. But we had a huge flood. The water started seeping in. I built a studio just like I built this one. I
Hmm.
built the whole room out. It was a dope little recording studio. We had a bunch of water damage, and we were faced with a landlord that really wasn't working with us, and we had to completely gut everything and redo the entire studio again.
Damn.
So it so happened that my business partner um, was given the opportunity. Well, he used to hold material here. We have footage of this warehouse, what it looked like originally, and it was a shit show. There was walls everywhere.
Yeah.
The ceilings were all exposed and destroyed. There was no restrooms. There was no bathrooms. Um, he was holding material here, and he had the opportunity to snatch the lease from whoever had it.
Okay.
So we had a meeting. He came in. He's like, "What do you see here?" And I'm like, "I could possibilities are endless." But originally, I wanted to put that bodega in the middle of this space right here
Okay.
because the front door used to be where that man is standing right there.
Okay.
That was the entrance to the building. And I wanted the bodega to be the first thing people saw.
Okay.
And strangely enough, it was that man that's standing right there that convinced me to build it and tuck it in the corner. He's like, listen, the value is space. You need space. So tuck it in the back, make sure it's out the way so you can. And look, if I would have put that building in the middle of the room, it would have fucked up the whole vibe of what
Exactly.
we got going on. So shout out to my brother Mecca in the back here.
Mecca's in the building.
He's been my consigliere for
Consigliere.
quite some time. And the original idea was just a dope production house and a space that we could just create content for myself, for artists. And that's what it started. That barbershop used to be an official barbershop. I had a barber's chair. I had 2 makeup stations. It was a way bigger room in there. I had to cut it when I started dealing with the Department of Buildings and had to deal with emergency exits and stuff. I had to make some alterations, but that's really what it started. I wanted to do the bodega in my first studio, the other one. So it was like a flat surface. It kind of looked like Just Those Pizza. It was just the front facade. And I wanted to make that look like a bodega.
Yeah.
And I had a big open space next to it like this that I was gonna do lighting and a whole bunch of stuff to. But once I came here and I was able to build it from scratch, it was like, oh, we gotta do this.
Hell yeah.
And thank God for resources. People don't believe me, but I only paid $5,000 to get that room built. That whole studio,
And that's not
that
normal?
bodega, no, hell no.
It's blessings, baby.
That's hell no. I paid one guy. He came in here with 2 guys the first day and did it all by himself. I watched him do it all by himself.
God bless that guy.
Yeah, I have no idea where he is. I wish I could find him to this day, but it was an incredible, incredible experience watching that dude build that place out and, to everything. I told him, oh, I want to see this in the curb. I want to see this. The curb got to look like this. I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. And he did his thing.
We're gonna get you guys over there as soon as we finish the discussion because we're gonna do a tour. So are we gonna get to the curb exactly what he's talking about? So what year did you officially open, and what did you open for exactly?
So full disclosure, we're not open. We still haven't officially opened.
Okay.
So we've done no promotion. We've done no soft open, no hard open. We aren't officially open.
So this is a if you know type of thing?
Exactly.
Okay.
So everything that I've done is just been off of my network and people that I have personal relationships with. So we're about to officially open. So we have all of our stuff in line now. We're getting all our licensing and, all that stuff with the state and the city in order. And we're doing an official grand opening, official press release. It's going to be definitely a big thing. We're going to invite all of our clients, all of our network, and do a private little event here for everybody and make it something super nice. So
Check that out. See, this is why we need the discussions. I'm thinking we open. I've been here before. I'm like, what do you mean? But
we got to pay bills. We still got to pay bills.
Got to pay bills.
We got to do what we got to do.
But I'll say so when I look at this, and when I've been here, so like I said, I've experienced it. But when you look at the IG, right? I look at it and people enjoy this beautiful space. It's obviously for marketing purposes, for filming videos. Like I said, when I came, it was a comedy show. So back to those are all your connections and those people that want to market their, because you had like a big content creator like event or something. I seen everybody in that video.
Yep, yep. We've done a few of those too. That was a little idea me and Jim had put together. I wanted to do. I had a different concept to it. So, he spun a little another direction to it, but we've done a couple of those here for sure. Just inviting all the biggest content creators and move makers that are in the industry in New York and give them one space to kind of figure out how to monetize and stuff like that. Give them a platform to kind of do some things. Yeah, those were cool. We did a couple of those here.
And those happen all over the city because I've been to a couple of them,
Hmm.
and it's really it's a networking party.
Yeah,
Because if
absolutely.
you put one person that's popping and working hard and another one, they can create something. You know what I'm saying? Ken Stars and Black Rose, they've been working together for years, and
Hmm.
they just make fucking the funniest shit ever. But that's just one avenue. You put all these people in a room, shit will happen.
Yeah,
And
you would hope so,
you
right?
will hope so. That's the idea.
You would hope so, because it's always like everybody has to work together, right? It's like what we were talking about earlier. You could put all the brightest rooms in the world, but if everybody's just worried about themselves, nothing's really gonna get done.
That's what, so yeah. The vision is definitely for everyone to work together. Because and I will tell you something right now. This is me on a personal note. When I started my podcast, obviously I don't have a host. I don't have I don't. It's me. But lately, I would say my last 16 episodes is me collaborating with another podcaster.
Mm.
So look at that. Just for example of I could have competed with him. Oh fuck that nigga, I want more views or whatever. Nah, I called that man humbly, yo, you renting your space? He was like, hell yeah. And that's where I've been for the last 16 episodes. So back to your point, me and him together are creating fucking magic. You know what I'm saying? It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
That's super dope. You gotta look. That's the way you gotta look at everything, right? Like even the space. The reason why, I love that he keeps saying that you gotta come here. IG does this space no justice.
At all.
You have to walk in here. The vibe in here is something that you can't recreate, and that's because of the integrity of the space. The artists that I collaborate with, my boys that have came in and lend hands from, obviously Danny Cortez. Huge shout out to Danny, Shutter Ed from Tats Crew with all the big salute to Tats Crew. They saw me in here from the very beginning. So I was a young Puerto Rican kid with a vision, and they showed me so much love with all the artwork that they did in here. Big salute to Hugh Tech. Hugh Tech did this beautiful bus for us. From the photographers when you walk in the doorway. Shout to the Bronxer and Francis Slingshot. The integrity of all the artists that have helped me bring this vision to life is just, you can't duplicate it. To have all these dope people all in one building, and especially Danny, like when I call Danny, I'm like, listen, I know you do miniatures. I know miniatures is your thing. This is a little out of your wheelhouse, but I feel like it's the next step for you. And this is prior to Danny becoming the biggest thing in the world, right?
100%.
Like we all saw it. We all
Yeah.
knew he was extremely talented, but it wasn't where it is today. God bless my brother and all his success too. Um, so it was amazing to see what he's grown into. And now all the huge installations that they're doing for big brands from MLB to, all over that
Yeah.
they're doing. It's just the community of artists that fall. Shout out to my cousin Nero too that did the mural
Yeah, we're
behind
gonna
us
we're gonna
too.
get to that.
Can't forget about Nero, but
And
being
rest in peace to the dog Nero. Blessings,
facts.
blessings to Nero.
And Scarlett too.
He had.
Just
Oh,
passed away
there's too
too.
many dogs.
Yeah, man.
I seen them. Nero had Bruckner on shook mode, and you walk by that corner, Nero's on your ass. No diddy.
That motherfucker was a dinosaur, for real. For real, for real.
No, but the visuals are amazing. Even my producer had walked in, he was like, "Yo." Like I saw him give you a dap, like, yo, this shit, cause you have to. If you come in here, you a fucking hater. I'll tell you this. Haters are welcome. You cannot, even if you're a hater, you cannot hate this fucking space. The hate is just gonna seep away. It's,
It's facts.
it's gonna make you. It's gonna make you get rid of the hate because this shit is so dope. I can't wait for the tour. It's coming in a couple of minutes. But no, the visuals are great. Let's just talk about a couple of events. What was you mentioned Jim? Shout out to Jim Jones, the legend. Obviously Dipset and all. What was Bodega Wednesdays last summer, right?
That was something that we was doing. That Jim was doing. So Jim walked in here, right? Big shout to It's Biscuit, the biggest blog in the world, man. Shout to my brother Flea Flicks. Um, Biscuit was here with Damon Shark, shout to Fubu,
Yes.
and they did a dope. We did a dope photo shoot for I believe it was a clothing drop with the movie Black Panther with Marvel. So it was Marvel Fubu.
Okay.
And Biscuit was like, yo, Jim got to see this building. Because I don't know, a lot of people are familiar with Jim and what he does, but he had a studio to a very small scale, but had stuff like this, a bus stop. He had like a city back in the day
Okay.
downtown. That was like his recording studio. I wasn't even aware of that. But Flea Flicks put us on FaceTime and he looked around and he lost his shit. He was like, "Oh, I got to come down there and start locking in with you." So he came in, he started booking the building, and he came in, he tried to become a partner, he tried to put a big old bag in front of me, like, he fell in love with the space, and just regardless of that, he still made it his home and showed a lot of love, and we did a ton of business, and we still working on some things to this day. So the Bodega Wednesdays was just one of those things. He was renting out the building. He wanted to give people an environment to kind of network and stuff like that. I had came up with this concept of doing a membership only experience here. And this was kind of a different version of that idea. And just giving a space to all the tastemakers to try to network with each other and build something and show the industry how much of an asset everyone could be standing together in solidarity and things like that.
100%. Yeah, no, he shot a bunch of videos here. So
Yeah, absolutely. The whole
actually, when someone mentioned La Bodega, I think it was my brother. Well, shout out to Al from Hip Hop Food Truck. I was with him, I think, and then we was with our boy Elliot, and they mentioned La Bodega, and I'm like, what y'all talking about? And like, yo, look at that shit up. That shit is so. Everyone has that feeling that you're talking about, and then as soon as you go in, you just see Jim, doing videos. The Wednesdays was part of it. So, are we ready for the tour? You ready for the tour?
I'm on your time,
Let's
Pop.
do it,
Whatever
baby.
you want to do.
So, you mentioned that the gentleman. So the gentleman that you were speaking of, he did like from scratch.
Yep.
Damn. What is like?
It's paneling. So I just chose it. I designed it. I told him I wanted to see it like offset. I wanted it to be a corner, so build out the corner, and I just found this brick looking like paneling, and that's what we used. I found this company in Chinatown that did the awning for me, so I just designed it with the words deli, truth, creativity, heart, soul. La Bodega, 1986. That was the year I was born.
Fire.
And then this is all real too. This is a real
It's a real pump.
1976 Mueller right here.
Fire.
That's a real pump that I sourced. That's a real payphone too.
It's a real payphone. They ain't got no more payphones.
A real payphone. So I just told him what I wanted to see, and he did it. Then years later, Danny came and he made it look old and weathered everything and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But everything was brand new, crispy.
And then you said inside the studio?
Yeah, inside is the studio. We were going inside too. My son is in there chilling.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is the little
Oh,
office.
this is different.
That's the real boss right there, my son.
That's the real boss. I got two bosses.
This is my little.
So talk the the studio language. What kind of machines you got in here?
Nah, regular program. So we got a Pro Tools, we got a Pro Tools HD system in here. We got the NS10s for regular playback. We got the KRK10s for. This is more of a vocal cutting room. I wouldn't say this is a mix room.
Okay.
This is more for vibe, heavy bass, heavy sound, right recording room. This is the perfect space for that. Definitely the perfect space for that.
Fire.
We cut a lot of records here. A lot of famous artists been in here. The new album that Jim just dropped, he did a couple of those records here with our engineers and our producers and stuff like that. So
That's beautiful, brother.
a lot of stuff. This is that's the actual cover art to one of my projects called Change the Frequency.
Nice.
So that's a 17-track album that's out everywhere right now. It's a dope project too.
Hell yeah.
It's like 2017, few years old, but still hitting.
Beautiful. Let's go see the rest. Let's go to the barbershop. See what's going on
You
here.
don't want to see in there.
Outside is good. Outside is good. Let's check out this tax crew. You showed tax crew some love.
Oh yeah, of course.
They've been around for years. Legends.
Yeah, shout to Bio, shout to BG, Nicer.
I just saw BG. He was doing a mural by the old Sleepies across from IHOP.
That's my dog, man.
Yeah.
BG's dope.
I played football with him one time.
Remember he came in and gave me some of the most fire weed I ever smoked. He's like, yo, you smoke? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah. And he gave me a bunch of weed too. I'm like, damn, bro, it's just me.
It's just me.
Shout to those guys.
All right, so let's move on. This the bathroom, but it's really a bus.
Yeah, so this is the restroom. You know, I wanted to give this that old school, high school, like torn up vibe, like those schools from the 80s, 70s, where there was just graph everywhere.
Hell yeah.
And everything is all, weathered, and, I wanted that vibe for the bathrooms. I didn't want the bathrooms just to be regular. So we came in, we got crazy with the cans. We are ADA compliant facility too. We are wheelchair accessible.
Hell yeah.
I have a wheelchair accessible bathroom on location as well. If you're not in a wheelchair, you're not gonna use it. It's my personal bathroom. And it's actually cool because it's hidden in the bus here.
Look at that.
If you don't know it's there, you're not really gonna notice.
You mentioned the MTA. Where did this idea come from?
So when I was designing the building, like, shout to Ed, shout to Mike too, Mike C, incredible sculptor, another one of the artists that worked in the building with us. Everybody wanted to do a train. Everybody's like, oh, we building a train.
That's the shit.
Let's do a train. I'm like, what is a train gonna be doing in the middle of a neighborhood? This is a bus, bro. Nah, we can't do a bus. I said, we gonna do a bus.
Exactly.
And I'm proud of those guys because, dealing with my shit and me fine-tuning the design on exactly what I wanted to see, they put a lot of hard work on making it come to life, so we got a bus.
Fire. What's up with the newsstand? This from scratch as well?
Yep, so this is absolutely from scratch. This is a fully functional bar. So we have some clients that we do, events for. We've done baby showers, we've done things like that. But it was very important for me to make sure that it doesn't look like a bar because we work with kids, the city, schools.
Yeah.
I didn't want children to come in and see alcohol and all that level of stuff. I know we got the liquor store back there, but I didn't want them to see bottles or any kind of thing like that. I wanted to make sure that it was fully functional, but it just gave more of an aesthetic than looking like an actual bar.
The magazines are authentic?
So the magazines are authentic recreations.
Okay. Got it.
if those things,
I was about to say, that's a great collection. Where you get this shit from?
if those were authentic, that would be like 50 grand worth of magazines in there.
Fire.
Some of those auctioned off the originals auctioned off for like 30, 40 grand.
Wow. How about the clippings, the newspaper?
Newspapers are legit newspapers. I got them from a library in Brooklyn.
Fire.
So those are all actual newspapers. We got if you was in the news, you up there.
Hell yeah. What's up with Justos?
So Justo, this is, I designed this after one of my favorite pizza shops. So originally, I was trying to design this after two of my favorite pizza shops. So you know the pizza shop that's right on Castle Hill, that is next to the Chase Bank. It's on Castle Hill on Lafayette Avenue. Yeah. I originally had that photograph here, but it just didn't work for the aesthetic.
Yeah.
So I forget the name of it. I think it's Frank's. I think it's Frank's Pizza.
Yeah, with the big slices.
Hell yeah. So Frank's Pizza, I grew up on that, and then I also grew up on Tommy's Pizza in Throggs Neck.
Okay.
So I was trying to intertwine both of them. I had the interior of Frank's Pizza, and I had the signage of Tommy's Pizza, but it just didn't work aesthetically, so I just recreated Tommy's Pizza, turned it to Justo's Pizza, because Justo is, shout to my brother Justo, he's like basically the manager here. Justo came in and he's like, listen, see me cleaning toilets, mopping, sweeping, I don't care, I'm a hard worker. Like, I work hard, you ain't gonna see me get fly unless I'm doing stuff like this. And ain't no shame in it, I don't care. Yeah, you know, I've driven the same car for 11 years. That shit don't mean nothing to me.
That don't mean nothing.
But Justo was that guy, my boy, that was like, yo, you the boss, bro. Concentrate on making money, getting business. You shouldn't be in here cleaning toilets, sweeping, mopping floors. Let me do that, I got this. So he like basically snatched the position and took it over and just maintains the building. And we do everything that we can to take care of him here. And I did this as a surprise to him. One day he came in and he was like,
That's fire.
what? You know what I mean? But my brother earned his right here. Everything that, you know, as we grow, we glow. And this was just a small token of my appreciation for what, he's been doing for us and stuff like that.
Hell yeah. Let's spin around real quick. Talk about the tire shop.
Yeah, so this is off of like, I used to go to a studio on 182nd and Jerome. So if you're familiar with that area underneath the L there, there's mad tire shops.
100%.
There's mad car shops. So this was like basically off of one of the tire shops that I used to see all the time going to the studio over there when I was younger. And Frank, that's my business partner. Big shout to Frank, Big Frank,
Fire.
Urban Flooring Systems. So this was just paying homage to my partner, making sure that he was in here. This is one of my favorite storefronts too, by the way. This whole section is like kind of my favorite area here. Esther's Discount, that's my mom. Shout to my mother, Esther.
Fire.
So as you see, Produkt with the K up there, hair product and all that. Shout to my cousin Nero, he just blessed his gate last night with some new graph.
Fire. He's gonna like this part.
Yeah. So this is the same thing, you know, if you're familiar with the Castle Hill area, there was so many changing businesses and stuff like that. There was always discount stores that were changing and stuff like that.
Fire.
Every hood got the little trap door.
You know it.
So I had to make sure that we had the trap door here with the light, everything functional. This is one of my favorite parts right here, to be honest with you.
And you know what's crazy? It's a little small aesthetic, but it means a lot to you. I like that.
Yeah, it hits. It's one of those things. Incredible texture for pictures and stuff like that. Every single background is incredible texture for pictures and stuff like
100%.
that. So.
We got the liquor store, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
This is actually off of the liquor store that's on the corner of Castle Hill and Brooklyn.
Legendary.
Yeah, if y'all familiar with the area, this is off of that. Also, Joe and Joe's, that was one of the sponsors for my Little League baseball team.
Wow, look at that.
And obviously, I wasn't on Joe and Joe's, they was our rival, but I was on Bronx Water.
Hello, if you know, you know.
Facts, but my name is Joseph, my son's name is Joseph, so it's just paying homage to my son. And if you look at the numbers on the bus, actually, those numbers on my kids' birthdays, 210, 105.
Yo, everything means something.
Of
Damn.
course, yeah, of course.
Hell yeah. So we got the chinos. You can't be in the hood if you ain't got the chinos, you heard?
Yeah.
We got the chinos.
And the chinos is like a full circle thing too,
Yo, it's
right?
amazing.
So this is named after a good friend of mine. His name is Fru Kwan, but he insisted I call it Fu Kwans. When I was struggling with the building and we weren't doing any type of business like that and things were going under, he was one of those guys that just made sure we kept the lights on. He always brought business through. He actually brought Fubu and Damon Shark. He brought that shoot here. And that one shoot changed the entire trajectory of what was happening in the building.
Wow.
So I wanted to make sure we pay homage to my brother too. Everything is a tip of the hat to my community and everyone that's kind of helped me get to the point that we're at. So.
No, that's a fact. You're paying homage to everyone, bro. It seems that everyone that, you ain't forgetting nobody, you know what I'm saying?
No,
it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
We don't get here on our own, you know, it takes a village to make shit happen. And, you know, it's a lot of incredible artists, a lot of incredible people that I'm lucky to call my friends and help us get to the place that we are. And this is only the beginning. We haven't even started yet. Like I said, we're not even open. So, you know, I'm real excited to see what this is about to turn into.
As far as the construction part of it, right? Like the glass, do you? Well, you said the gentleman that did that, but this is a whole different team.
Yeah.
Because
So
it looks like you took it off a store and put it here.
So we have a lot of like I got a background in construction. My business partner is heavily involved in construction, but working with Danny, we wanted to give them the opportunity and just give them the bread, do the business with them. Danny was doing so much dope stuff. So this side of the space, we just kept them on and had them do the actual build out of it.
Yeah.
That I did with, licensed union contractors and stuff like that.
100%. No rats outside.
Yeah, facts.
We do it the right way.
Yeah, we definitely do it the right way.
Oh, by the way, get the fire escapes.
Oh yeah,
Don't
you
forget
have
about
to.
the fire
Have
escapes.
to. That's actually wood too. Those are all made out of wood.
Fire.
Yeah, the building department came in here. They're like, "Oh, you can't have that." I'm like, "Sir, that is wood, and it's hollow wood. It's like the steps are styrofoam."
Oh, because if it was metal, it could.
Yeah, I would have had to take it down.
Yeah.
It's a falling hazard.
Smart guy.
Yeah, he had to get on the ladder and check. I was like, "I told you that shit is styrofoam, man."
And we got the what's that show about 227? This shit is like 227.
Sesame Street, man.
Sesame
all
Street.
day.
The flag, of course, the body.
Course, yeah. So 2307, this is, like I was saying, I grew up at 2307 Lafayette Avenue. This is the house that we grew up in as kids, and unfortunately, my parents split up and my pops left and my mother ended up losing this house. So the bank took the house, we was homeless. It was like a crazy situation for a little while.
Damn.
And I wanted to build something that nobody could take from us now, so.
Hell yeah.
We got 2307 here as far as this brownstone that's here. And this isn't exactly the way my house looked, but it's similar, and this was just kind of paying homage to the Bronx. Because people say all the time there ain't no brownstones in the Bronx, and y'all never been to the Bronx. Come to the South Bronx, bro.
100%.
There's brownstones all over the place.
100%.
Yes, they're in Harlem. They're nicer in Harlem. We got the whack ones, but trust me, we got them. So my family is Pentecostal, right? So we had a church for over 100 years on Fairmont Avenue and Southern Boulevard. And I remember a time where the Bronx was literally burning and there was nothing there.
100%, yep.
So the only thing that was standing on Fairmont Avenue and Southern Boulevard was my grandmother's church.
Wow.
And the church is attached to a house. So my grandfather's a pastor, my great-grandfather was a pastor, Raphael, he passed away, my great-grandmother as well.
Blessings, blessings.
My uncle Ishmael is now still the pastor there. But in that area, the only thing that was standing when the Bronx was burning was my grandmother's church and a brownstone that looked exactly like this.
Wow.
It was completely covered in rubble all around it, and it was insane. Like, I remember nothing but dogs. Broken rock, broken brick, dogs everywhere. My grandmother was a gangster. This woman was, I swear to God, the woman was this big and she built dog houses. There were so many stray dogs that she took them in and she fed them. So they had a backyard and they had 7 dog houses and 7 of the biggest vicious motherfuckers you ever seen in your life.
Hell yeah.
And every single day, this tiny little lady used to go with their food. Rice and beans, all the leftovers that she cooked from that day, and she fed all those dogs. Like, that's the Bronx I remember. There was so many dogs all over the place. My grandmother took them in and took care of them and shit like that. So this was like homage to that time in my life and just remembering them and remembering the Bronx and that state that it was in. Now you go over there and it's all affordable housing or connected cribs, and it's a whole new world, man. It really, really is.
Fire. So I guess the gate, there's access, or that's just, that's the aesthetic?
No, that's just the aesthetic. So
Okay.
Tats Crew came through and blazed that up for me. It's just more like an area back here. That's like
Okay.
South Bronx kind of vibe. I wanted to throw, we tried to do it. Did we do it? I wanted them to come back and do like the pun mural.
Yeah.
Like try to do a little small version of the pun mural. I just don't want to push my luck, man. Them brothers did so much work for me.
Well, that looks like a nice.
At the Love price. I'm covering that though.
Okay.
We usually build the stage and all that good stuff back there. So it's gonna be, that's always gonna be
This
covered
is amazing, my brother. Yo, thank you for the invite. And I'm gonna tell you something, people. When I met this guy, I had my business card in my pocket. I introduced myself like a gentleman, like a professional. And I knew him, but you know what I did? I didn't even let him know that because I didn't want to use that connection. Might have, but no.
If he would have said my uncle's name, he would have been all the way in. All the way in.
I wanted to save that. You know what I'm saying?
That's a trump card.
100%. So, but you know, I wanted to introduce myself. I gave you my business card. I hit you up on the IG. Then I told him about Leo, and then he was like, "Oh!" And I saw your guard go down. I'm like, "Yes, I got him."
Yeah, hell yeah.
But my brother, thank you. This has been an honor.
Absolutely.
You know, one more question before we leave. From your vision to what this is now, is this more than you can even have dreamed of?
I mean, I'll tell you this, right? I remember especially with the guy that was here, Mecca, we went to a school called the Audio Institute, IAR back in the day. Everybody remembers IAR, right? Institute of Audio Technology, or whatever it was.
100%.
So when I was younger, I was incarcerated, and I went to school, and I got my diploma, I got my GED, and they enrolled me in that school. And I remember getting my education, like, yo, I'm gonna have my own studio one day. And it was the only thing that was my focus. Like, I'm gonna have my own dope recording studio. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna have it. And I sat here the other day and I realized, like, one, God is good because the recording studio is the smallest piece of what I have here. It's so much more than I could have ever dreamed or ever imagined for myself. And to be able to be in a position to see this idea through, because I used to fight like, yo, I don't want to compromise or nothing. I want to finish this. Let me finish this. Let me finish this. From, you know, my landlord not giving us a long-term lease to just a bunch of different aspects with budgeting and, you know, everything it took to get to this point. It was like a real defining moment for me. Like, holy shit, like the recording studio is literally the smallest part of it. And that was the dream. You know what I'm saying? So to be standing here, besides all the hard work and all the sacrifices that had to be made, it's just a really grateful moment to see what this has turned into. And, you know, I can't believe it. You know, seeing what this building has turned over so many times in so many ways, like, it's still unreal to me.
Beautiful. My brother, thanks again. You people need to come here. If you haven't come here, he has events. That's probably the only way in at this point. Don't knock on the door, he ain't gonna open.
Definitely not gonna open. And if my dog is here, I strongly suggest.
Exactly. But
yeah, we are open to everyone though. I just want to get that out there. I built this building to be a staple in our community, to be a creative hub for everyone out there. We are working on, we have our own curriculum called the La Bodega curriculum that we are introducing to New York City schools. It is something I do intend to take statewide, from busing children here after school. We're gonna get on buses, we're gonna do incredible things with the community here. We are open for everyone. So if you wanna do a photo shoot, reach out. You know, you're gonna speak to me directly. There's no secretaries. You're not going to get a middleman. You're going to get me, whether it's on the IG or it's via email, whatever it is.
What's the email?
The email is Joseph@La Bodega NY. Make sure you follow us as well at La Bodega NY as well on Instagram. Check out the website, www.labodegany.com. And there's a bunch of information on the website as well if you're looking to book whatever it is you're trying to book. We've done a lot of work with a whole bunch of people, television, photo shoots, live events. We can take care of everything from catering to, you know, if you want hot dogs or hamburgers, to steak and lobster, we can facilitate that for you.
Hell yeah.
We have amazing partners when it comes to catering and food and all that level of stuff. We pull liquor permits to do, you know, anything that you guys want to do, we can get it done here for you. Just reach out and we'll take care of you. We're here for ya.
Bodega.
The one-stop shop.
SoBX.
One-stop shop.
My brother, thanks again.
Of course, Bobby. Of course.
We did it. We did it. La Bodega. We got Produkt with us, the owner. And I don't have to speak no more. It's on camera. This place, you have to come here. You have to come here. So I'm just going to be quiet and let the camera do what it do.